So stop eating, please. Or actually, no, go ahead and eat.
How's it going, Scott? Smoosh here. We're going to listen to Harley's speech. Hopefully he'll make you proud.
What's up, Scott? We're about to listen to Harley, and then you're going to enjoy it, so have fun.
Give him an A.
Do what she said. A lot easier for everybody. Okay. Now, Scott and assembled guest. We're here to talk about me. I'm just joking. Now, the week after last, because we didn't have class last Thursday when I was supposed to do this presentation, yeah, I know. I was screwing off at work. Well, sorry, goofing off at work. And I whipped out my cell phone to go to my favorite website, theescapist.com. And basically, for those that don't know what The Escapist is, it pretty much has to do with technology, video games, social things like what's new out in movies and players, pretty much a lot of geek stuff. So that's probably like me and 3 other people in this class. Now, I went to The Escapist, like I said, and I went to see what was new and bizarre. And one of the sites caught my eye. Apparently, a Jason Valdez, at the beginning of last month, was supposed to have gone to court for felony drug charges. So you can tell this guy's probably not a good guy. Well, he decided to skip court, and the judge thought it'd be a good idea to give him a warrant for his arrest. Well, the police later found Scott later in the month at the Western Colony Inn, and he took a hottie for a hostage. 16 hours later, Scott tried to kill himself and failed. The police had the situation under control. But that is not where our story ends. No, actually, that's where it begins. Because when Jason was having this shootout with the cops, holding on to a hostage to make sure she would not run out, he also whipped out his phone and updated his blog saying, you know, I got hottie with a hostage. This might end bad. A little before midnight that day. And the odd thing is, you can go right now to see exactly what he posts and the pictures. Well, besides posting on Facebook, he was also making new friends, and they were giving him advice. And this is where some trouble gets into, because some of this advice was, watch out, there's a SWAT officer parked outside the bushes in front of your door. When some people were trying to tell him to do the right thing, let the hostage go and surrender. Well, there's so much, posts that were updated that the DA of Salt Lake City went into this, and now some of his friends may be looking at criminal charges. Now, I know you're asking, why should his friends be looking at criminal charges? They were helping out a friend. Well, when they're helping out a friend that interferes with the police investigation or the police trying to contain a situation, that's called obstruction of justice. And that's what we're here to learn about. What is obstruction of justice and why you need to know. Now, what is obstruction of justice? Per letter law, obstruction of justice is the attempt to interfere with the administrations of the court, the justice system, or a law enforcement officer. This too can include tampering with evidence, intimidating a witness, hiding evidence, destroying evidence, stopping a police officer from making an arrest, or interfering with the police investigation. And here's some examples of that. Say you're in a clique or gang. You don't talk to cops. Well, they call them something else. And I'm not singling anybody else, so stop that. Well, a cop asks you, if so-and-so did this crime or know anything about said crime, when you know for sure what it was because you were there. Well, if the cop finds out that you know more than what you're saying, he could arrest you or at least detain you for obstruction of justice because he knows you're hampering his investigation. Or something that the class as a whole can relate to. Let's say Rachel's having her car searched. She's not there, but it's her car. And let's say Blake, he's a good kind of guy, good friend to have. He takes a stick and knocks that guy over the head, lays him out cold. Problem is, he was a detective who had a legal search warrant to search said car. Blake just now interfered with the police investigation. Not to mention assaulting an officer, and that's why his partner just now tasered him. Sorry, Blake. Now, another thing people get in trouble with because they don't know is ignorance of the law. Unfortunately, ignorance of the law is no excuse under said law. Like saying that you're going 55 in a 55-mile-an-hour zone, correct? All of a sudden, you got blue and red lights flashing behind you. You turn around to see it's a cop. You pull over because you're a law-abiding citizen. Unfortunately, you missed the sign that said men at work 25 miles an hour only. The cop didn't miss it, but you did. And you can explain as much as you want that you failed to see that sign. You know, the cop may let you go, but he might not. Because ignorance is no excuse. Another example, say that you decided to go drinking and you forgot to leave the bottle of Bud in the bar. You walked out to the patio. Technically, that's against the law because you're having a glass bottle outside the premises of said bar. Just because you didn't know doesn't mean it's okay. And depending on what time of night, the cops may be giving you a citation for drunk in public, which usually involves being arrested and having some fun at night in jail in the drunk tank. It's not fun. I've been there. It sucks. Now, we've talked about what is obstruction of justice and why ignorance is no excuse to the said law, but why do you need to know what obstruction of justice is and what can happen to you? Now, like I said, obstruction of justice is an easy case for most cops to, at least to detain you. So if you lie or something like that during a police investigation, you might get a slap on the wrist, which might be a night in jail or a couple of weeks or a month. Or if you use a firearm or any kind of blunt violence to intimidate a witness or an officer, you could do 20 years in jail. Now, a good and recent public case of what happens to someone that, obstruction of justice, Barry Bonds. He lied to Congress. So not only is that perjury, he also was trying to willfully usurp the court of law. And that's why he's doing jail time for that. Now, we've talked about what is obstruction of justice, why ignorance is no excuse to the law, and what can happen to you. Now, I hope some of y'all took this to heart, and hopefully y'all never get charged with obstruction of justice. Thank you. Good night.